So hello guys, and welcome to another video. And earlier, Nintendo announced a game-specific direct for Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which will be happening on August 31st at 7 AM Pacific Time, 10 AM Eastern Time, and it will be about 15 minutes long. And this is pretty exciting because I'm really looking forward to Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and I'm just really excited to see like the new information and new things that will be in this game, since it's one of my most anticipated games right now, kind of obviously since I'm a pretty big Mario fan, but yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense that they are doing this now to get it out of the way before a September Direct, because a September Direct would be a bit too close to Wonder's release date, only about a month or less. So, and Nintendo is like very protective of mainline Mario. They want to make sure the mainline Mario games are promoted enough and promoted correctly, and like they kind of wanted to put the spotlight on these games enough. So it makes sense that they're kind of having this direct ahead of time. They did the same thing for Mario Maker 2, as well as a lot of their other major titles for other series, like Xenoblade, Splatoon, things like that. Mario Maker 2 is just a Mario-specific example, but it makes a lot of sense why they're doing this direct. And then there's also the fact that, like, the embargo for journalists, like, getting a preview of this game is supposedly gonna drop. I've heard that somewhere. I'm not sure if that's exactly true, but it makes a lot of sense that it would now that this direct is happening, because apparently there were private demos at Gamescom, as well as, like, some places in the US, like some of Nintendo's locations and everything. So yeah, that's another reason why this makes a lot of sense. And then finally, there's also Nintendo Live, which is happening the day after this direct airs, so there's probably going to be like a surprise demo or something that they wouldn't have revealed otherwise or before, so that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, for the rest of the video here, I'm gonna kind of go through my predictions for what could be in Super Mario Bros. Wonder, like, announced at this direct and everything, as well as, like, things that could be announced alongside Super Mario Bros. Wonder, like, as, like, any, promotional release or any, like, kind of hardware releasing alongside that. I'll elaborate that in a little bit, but yeah. With Super Mario Bros. Wonder, I feel like in this direct, we're gonna get maybe a brief overview of how the plot is gonna work. I don't think the plot is gonna be too crazy. I mean, it might, because Wonder seems to be going all out, but I think it's probably gonna be on the level of, like, Galaxy or Odyssey in terms of the plot, where it is a little more interesting than the basic Mario games, like the new Super Mario Bros. Games. I don't think it's going to be that basic, because we already know there's going to be, like, a lot of very interesting things about this game, like from the Wonder Flower, that whole effect and everything, as well as, like, Bowser's whole thing this time. Like, it seems like Bowser Jr. was kind of taken over by some sort of, like, entity or force or something, so it looked really interesting. And it also takes place in an entirely new area. I'm not sure if, like, the entire area is the Flower Kingdom, or Flower Kingdom is just one of the worlds, but it takes place in, like, a brand new area of the Mario universe. So I think that will be pretty interesting. So at the very least, it's gonna be, like, it's gonna have a story as interesting as the 3D Mario games, I think. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be a step up from the new Super Mario Bros. Games, from, like, what I've seen of the plot and everything. I don't think it's gonna be too crazy, obviously, because the focus is obviously mainly on the gameplay, but it would be nice to have something a little more interesting this time. And I think they'll probably reveal more of, like, Bowser, or, like, Bowser, what Bowser is doing in this game, like, if he's, like, possessed by, like, another entity, like how I mentioned with Bowser Jr. I don't know, maybe it's like, Tatonga has returned or something. Maybe it's Fawful. I'm gonna keep coping Fawful's return in another Mario game. I mean, even though he's kind of like done in the Mario RPGs. I think it would be cool if he appeared in another game. I'm just saying because Bowser Jr.'s effect kind of looks like Dark Bowser a little bit. Maybe it has to do with the Dark Star. Maybe the Dark Star is going to be like something like the Dark Matter from the Kirby franchise. Maybe they'll make it into something like that. Who knows? It could be really anything at this point. Maybe even Wart can return. That would be pretty cool. But honestly, I feel like for my most wanted like villain to return, if they are gonna do a returning villain, is Tatonga. I think that would make the most sense out of all of them, since Daisy is playable in this game. And I feel like Wonder also gives me a lot of Super Mario Land vibes, like both Land 1 and 2, due to how different and weird it is. So I think Tatonga would make a lot of sense here. Or it could be a new villain entirely, which would also be great. Or it could just be Bowser. Who knows? I mean, I wouldn't be disappointed if it was just Bowser, because at least they're doing something a tad more interesting with Bowser, like at least from what we've seen so far, and the game is interesting enough to have Bowser still be like the villain and everything. Despite the fact that it's so overused, we do know that Bowser is going to be like one of the antagonists in the game, at least, and one of the villains. But it would be cool if there was like an entirely new villain, kind of like taking over Bowser or like possessing Bowser and Bowser Jr. So yeah, and then with the bosses in the game, I don't think they're going to do the Koopalings this time. Just due to how interesting Wonder is, I think they're probably going to go in a similar route to, like, either the Land games or New Super Mario Bros. DS, where it's, like, completely new bosses, or bosses kind of based on existing enemies, or it might be, like, a mixture of both. I do think we're definitely going to get some, like, entirely new bosses here. That would be really out of place if it was just the Koopalings. If the Koopalings were like relegated to like towers and there were like mid-bosses, and had like their own effects and everything in this game and were actually kind of changed up a bit, I wouldn't mind the Koopalings if they did something like that. Like, that would actually be fun. I would actually like that. But I feel like the main bosses in the game should definitely be like completely new. Either kind of variations of existing enemies, like Yoshi's Island or New Super Mario Bros. DS, or like completely new characters, like the Land games. I think either one I will be fine with. Like, but yeah, I think the bosses will definitely be more interesting. And yeah, I think we'll also kind of get like more information on the power-ups as well. We don't really have that much, like, in terms of like power-ups so far from what we've seen in the first trailer. So far, we saw like the basics, like the mushroom, the fire flower, and then the new like elephant power-up for Mario and everything. So we'll maybe see more elaboration on that elephant power-up. Like, maybe it does something else to another character, like maybe that power-up transforms the different characters into different animals. Or maybe they're gonna be like kind of similar to like Fox Luigi, as Fox Luigi is to Raccoon Mario, where they do something like where they're all similar animals, but they have like slightly different effects. Like, let's say Rhino Toad or Mammoth Luigi, something like that. They could do that, and then they could also kind of have like more power-ups that have like slightly different effects on each character, like a flying power-up, like a new flying power-up, things like that. And then I'd also like to see a few returning power-ups as well. Like, I really think the either the raccoon suit or the Tanuki suit should return. If it's the Tanuki suit, they should really have the P meter this time. Because for some reason in 3D Land and 3D World, it didn't have that, likely due to the fact that it was a 3D platformer, and that would kind of be broken, but they should bring the P-meter back so you could actually fly with the raccoon suit, or Tanuki suit, if they bring that back in Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So, yeah, I I think that would be nice. I know, obviously, if it's going to be the raccoon suit, there would not be any changes from New Super Mario Bros. 2, but yeah, the the propeller suit and everything, I'm not sure how likely that is. It depends on, like, the level design of some of the, like, sky and athletic levels, but we'll have to see. Two that I really want to see return is the blue shell from New Super Mario Bros. DS. That would be amazing, since that's, like, my favorite Mario power-up of all time. At least as of now. Maybe one of the power-ups in Wonder will overtake it. And another power-up I'd like to see is the penguin suit. I know it kind of is similar to the blue shell in some ways due to the fact that you can slide on some surfaces, but the blue shell is more giving you the capabilities of sliding on really any surface, while the penguin suit is more for ice and water. So I think it would still make a lot of sense to have the penguin suit, and they can maybe have, like, different levels of swimming ability, like maybe the penguin suit allows you to swim better, while the blue shell allows you to swim faster. Maybe they could do something like that and kind of balance out the swimming abilities of each of those power-ups, but I'd honestly really like to see both of them. And then maybe even some 3D Mario power-ups, like specifically from 3D World or even the Galaxy games, more likely 3D World. Like the cat suit would be really cool to see, due to how, like, distinct it is in its moveset and everything. I know the elephant power-up might be pretty similar in terms of, like, attacking and everything, but it would still be pretty cool to see, like, the cat suit, or even, like, the boomerang suit, different things like that. Just returning power-ups in general would be great, on top of, like, the new power-ups that they're adding. So yeah. So another thing that I'd like to see is more playable characters. I know there's a possibility that we've already seen the full playable roster with Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, Toad, Peach, Daisy. That still is a very good roster of playable characters, especially having Yoshi and Daisy playable as well. I think that's really cool, but it would be cool to see, like, even more characters on top of that. If they're not revealed in this direct, they could be potentially, like, unlockable characters, like after you beat the game, kind of similar to, like, 3D World, like with Rosalina and everything. But it would be cool if you could, like, unlock it, like, earlier or, like, throughout the game. Like, Wario would be great as a playable character. I'm not sure about Waluigi, how they'd handle Waluigi due to his, like, body shape and everything, but I think Wario would work pretty well, especially since he has his own platformer series with the Wario Land series, so I think it would be great to see Wario. And it would be cool if Wario was, like, a special character, like, unlocked later, where you could actually use, like, the shoulder bash ability and everything. Not as likely. Wario would probably control, like, the rest of the characters, but it would still be really cool to see Wario. Wario is definitely one of my most wanted characters to see in a mainline Mario game again. Or maybe even alternatively with Wario, maybe Wario will be like a boss or something. I think that would be really cool, since Wario was the main antagonist of Super Mario Land 2, so it would be cool to see this game kind of go full circle and kind of have Wario as one of the bosses again. And then maybe even he's like a playable character after you beat the boss. I know that's a bit far-fetched of an idea, but I do think it sounds pretty cool, and I do think it would be really cool if Wario was in the game. But yeah, there are also a couple other possibilities for playable characters, like Rosalina, since she was in 3D World and all, so I think that would also make a lot of sense as a playable character. Like, if they were gonna do Wario, or if they weren't gonna do Wario, I think Rosalina would make a lot of sense. And then Toadette is also a very likely candidate, probably even more so than both Wario and Rosalina, since Toadette has been in New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, as well as Super Mario Maker 2, so yeah, Toadette would make a lot of sense, as she's been appearing in a lot of games, a lot of mainline Mario games lately, I think Toadette will appear in the game in general, even if she's like an NPC or something else. So yeah, I think Toadette is definitely possible as a playable character. And then another one that I don't think is as likely, but I still think is kind of possible, is Nabbit. Since Nabbit was in New Super Luigi U and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, which were the last two kind of main 2D Mario games. I know there was Super Mario Run and Super Mario Maker and everything, but I do think Nabbit has a chance, though I don't really see Nintendo adding Nabbit if they are kind of moving away from like the new Super Mario Bros. Style and everything. Maybe Nabbit will be like a character in the game, kind of like how I mentioned with Toadette. But I think I feel like Wonder is going for a more distinct style here and wouldn't really be fitting for Nabbit to be in the game, though I do think Nabbit would be cool. Though another reason why I don't think he would be in is because of like the easy mode thing. I'm not sure if like with Super Mario Bros. Wonder, they're gonna handle the easy mode in the same way that they did in New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. They might just make the whole game easier in like a separate save file rather than like a character. They might do that. So who knows? I feel like there's a possibility that we could get more playable characters, or the characters that we have now are the full playable roster. Either way, I am kind of okay with that. So yeah. Another thing that I think will probably be elaborated on in the Direct is the importance of the Wonder Seeds and the Wonder segments used by the Wonder Flowers in the levels. So the Wonder Seeds are kind of like this game's equivalent of Star Coins, at least from what it seems so far. So I feel like they might be used to unlock different areas, though I do feel like they will be more interesting and more involved than Star Coins. They might work a little more like the 3D Mario games in terms of unlocking things, at least like Mario 64 or 3D World in terms of like unlocking the different areas. So yeah, I think it would be pretty interesting to see them utilized in that way. There was also another like interesting currency that was seen in the first trailer, like with these pink coins. I mean, maybe they're a currency, maybe they're something else. I'm not sure what exactly they are. One idea that I've had before is maybe they extend the timer in the Wonder segments, because I think there was like one point during the trailer where there was a timer during one of the Wonder segments. So maybe that like increases your chances of getting a Wonder Seed, or maybe they're used for something completely different, and they're actually like a currency that you could use at like Toad Houses or this game's equivalent of Toad Houses. We'll have to see. Like, they're really interesting since they're actually like kind of divided into decimals and everything. So yeah, I think that will be pretty interesting to see. So yeah, that's about all I have in terms of like ideas I have for like the game itself, since this game is just really interesting and it can really do anything. Like, it's just pretty unique for a 2D Mario game. So I'm really looking forward to it. But aside from what's going to actually be in the game itself, I do think we'll get more elaboration on things that could release alongside the game. Like, there's a possibility that we could get, like, a Mario Wonder Edition Switch OLED. I think that's definitely a possibility, since they did release, like, a somewhat, special version of the Switch alongside Odyssey, which was the last, like, big mainline Mario game. I know Mario Maker is technically a mainline Mario game, but I do think there's a possibility we could get, like, a Switch OLED in the style of, like, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. And then there's also the possibility that we could get new amiibo figures themed around Super Mario Bros. Wonder, like maybe the Elephant Mario power-up, like kind of something similar to that. I think would be pretty cool, and then maybe even some of the other power-ups with the different characters. Like, one that I didn't mention before was the Goomba power-up thing. I mean, maybe that's a power-up because it seems to be, like, affecting Blue Toad, or maybe that's has something to do with, like, the Wonder segments, but I think it would be cool to see, like, a, Blue Toad Goomba amiibo or something like that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Super Mario Bros. Wonder Direct. I'm glad that we're gonna get a new wave of information before September, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to what will be announced in this Direct, and like what will be in Super Mario Bros. Wonder and everything. So yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Amazon affiliate link and Discord server if you want to. Goodbye.